Greetings from St. Paul, Oregon. We're standing in front of one of the oldest churches in the state of Oregon. This is the St. Paul Catholic Church in St. Paul, Oregon, population 434 as of the 2020 census. This old church has actually been here since 1846, so this is one of the oldest churches that you're going to find in the state of Oregon. And the actual parish itself dates back to 1836. There used to be a log cabin that served as the initial church. So that log cabin goes back to about 1836. And then at some point they replaced that log cabin with this nice, big, beautiful red brick building that you see in front of you. So the actual St. Paul Church Parish itself goes back to 1836, but this red brick building goes back to 1846. So a lot of history here, and as you know, I have a thing for old buildings and old historical churches and all that historical stuff. So that's the reason for this little video. Brenda and I are back in Oregon, and we just wanted to stop by here and give this old church a little bit of attention. They currently have mass going on right now, so I don't want to be too in the way of the festivities or the events. But we're going to walk up a little bit closer and give you a little bit more information. This church was constructed using 160,000 red bricks that were fired on site back in 1846, and that cost $20,000 back in 1846 money. And this is currently the oldest brick building in the Pacific Northwest, and this was the first church in Oregon to be constructed out of red bricks. So there you have it. Nice, big, beautiful old church, St. Paul Catholic Church in St. Paul, Oregon. Give you a side view. Just a magnificent looking building. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful old church. And it's set in this tiny little town, and it's just, the ambiance is really nice. I'll pan out a little bit, give you a view of the church property. Nice manicured grounds. Nice lawns, nice big old trees. And we are located in Marion County, Oregon. We're just outside the small little town of Jervis, Oregon. We're north of Salem, Oregon, probably, I want to say 20 miles maybe north of Salem, and probably 30 miles south of Portland, Oregon. So we're out in the rural area. This is out in the Willamette Valley in an area known as French Prairie. And French Prairie was settled predominantly by French Canadian fur trappers back in the 1820s and 30s. A lot of the French Canadians ended up staying in the area. A lot of them were working for the Hudson's Bay Company and some of the other fur trading companies. And then many of them just elected to stay in the area once their contracts ended. And they ended up establishing local communities. And then, of course, they wanted to have their own churches. And most of the French Canadians were of Catholic faith. So, of course, they wanted to establish their own Catholic churches. And this is one of the earliest ones. And what's kind of neat is they have a replica of the original church, the original log cabin that served as the very first St. Paul Catholic Church. And they have that little replica right over here in the corner. And there you have it. This is what the original church looked like. Replica of First Catholic Church in Oregon, St. Paul, 1836. Okay, can you tell that she's on Prozac? This is Miss Brenda on Prozac. I picked her up from the boarding facility yesterday after being there for about a week. And we're trying to give it a go here to see how her anxiety's doing at the apartment. So, I don't know, does she look any different? Can you tell? This is a dog on Prozac, so I don't know. She's a little bit more sedate than normal. She's not quite her rambunctious normal self. So she's a little bit more even-keeled now. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, her personality seems a little bit different than it did a few weeks back before the Prozac. So, I don't know. And this is going to be about it. I just wanted to stop by and do a quick little video about this beautiful church. And this gives you a little better idea of what the compound looks like. This is the front of the church, and then you got the nice landscaped lawn, nice gardens in front, nice trees. It's a very welcoming environment, very nice and comforting. Perfect spot for a church.